You came into the studio and gave me some news.
Yeah,
and
man.
Our listeners, man, I am baffled. After last week, we dedicated our show to Prince, and now we have another powerful person who passed away.
Tragedy, tragic, man.
I'm still in disbelief.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace to Afeni Shakur.
Afeni Shakur,
Tupac Shakur's mother. She died at the age of 69 last night around 10:30 p.m. Police are saying it's a possible cardiac arrest, but we don't know. However, she is iconic. She gave birth to the genius Tupac Shakur. She was part of the Black Panther movement. Now, mind you, her name is not original. Her original name is Alice Faye Williams. She changed her name to Afeni Shakur when she moved to New York City and joined the Black Panther movement. And, you know, she was arrested with various other Panthers because they were blamed or they were being conspired against in regards to a bombing.
The Panther 21. It was like 21 of them.
21. Yes, exactly. Yes, but she was acquitted, and then a month later she gave birth to Tupac. So we have to really look at what is occurring, this trend of deaths that are happening to these iconic people. Last week, Prince died. This week, Afeni Shakur dies. Now, mind you, these people owned their masters. Afeni owned Tupac's masters. You know, I don't know what's going on in regards to her death. She was 69 years old, so it's a possibility that it could be natural health causes or whatever. But nevertheless, it is a very painful loss for the Black community. I'm in pain. You know, I'm crying inside right now.
Yeah, I'm sick right now.
You know,
I mean,
yeah.
First of all, I didn't get a chance to meet her, but I definitely had some ideas for a screenplay about Tupac, and it definitely was going to open up with her. It was definitely going to open up with her leaving out of court after being freed from the Panther 21. Afeni was the first person who was bailed out because she was the one that had all the paralegal work, and she knew how to raise money. So they raised bail for her to get out. And once she got out, she was able to fundraise and gather money to feed the other Panthers who were locked up. And Afeni, during her case, was phenomenal. While pregnant with Tupac, she was able to defend herself without an attorney and win her case.
Indeed.
So a very phenomenal woman who gave birth to the man that we know, Tupac Amaru Shakur, who goes on to be one of the most infamous, notorious, most popular rappers in the world. And so we mourn her today. It's very sad. And I'm just in disbelief because they were produced a film in Atlanta this year, and I think it was supposed to be released next year, but they were shooting the film this year in Atlanta. And, you know, just to have her there involved with that process, and now to lose her before the film comes out is very tragic.
Very tragic.
And I know her ex-husband, Mutulu Shakur, who I know she was in still contact with, who was supposed to be getting out pretty soon after being sentenced to 60 years in prison. Mutulu Shakur, Tupac's stepfather, and also the father of his sister, Sechua Shakur. So prayers go out to the family. I know a lot of them are in Atlanta, and it's very tragic.
Exactly. And just to let you know, her philanthropy didn't stop in the 70s. She continued the efforts after Tupac died and made foundations in his name. She created the Tupac Amaru Shakur Foundation, and that provided art programs for young people. And also Amaru Entertainment, the holding company for Tupac's unreleased material. You know, and she also launched a clothing line, Machiavelli branded, and all the proceeds was going to charity. So this woman did some great things in her lifetime that went widely unnoticed. So we have to really pay homage to our ancestors, man. She's an ancestor now. A true iconic ancestor, somebody that brought life to a genius, Tupac. And everybody knows that music that Pac created was very influential, highly influential in people's lives, especially mine. I remember growing up, Tupac was one of my favorite rappers. You know, I was listening to, I listened to Pac before people even knew who Pac was. When he came out with Brenda's Got a Baby, I had that. I let my tape rock till my tape popped when it came to Brenda's Got a Baby. And then he came out strictly for my Niggaz.
Wow.
You know, that was a powerful, those two albums right there, first two albums.
Tupacalypse Now.
Tupacalypse Now. And then,
the
first one was Tupacalypse Now. The second one was strictly for my Niggaz. And that piece right there was fire, like a nice, powerful sophomore album, you know. So, and then the rest is history. Everybody knows what came after that. The wave of Pac just took over the airwaves, man. Took over the airwaves, just took over the country. He brought battle rap to a whole new level when it came to the West Coast, East Coast, West Coast beef. So many things Pac did, but it would be no Pac if it wasn't for Afeni Shakur,
who was the one who got Tupac to read. Tupac was tagged along to all the Black Panther meetings. Unfortunately, he was also tagged on to the FBI, questioning him about the whereabouts of his stepfather, and also asking him questions about Geronimo Pratt. Rest in peace to Geronimo Pratt.
Rest in peace to Geronimo Pratt.
And you know, just going through those changes of a mother who Tupac said that couldn't find work after she beat that case, and they blackballed her from really having a career. So they end up going to live with Geronimo Pratt and his wife out on the West Coast in Marin County, and they moved to the West Coast to try to find a better life. But also she found drugs, and you know, Tupac talked about that in a song called Dear Mama, which we're gonna be playing shortly. I mean, it's I'm really in disbelief right now. I don't know the words that really describe how I'm feeling, but I read some of her book also. Afeni got a book that was written by Jasmine Guy. Coincidentally, Jasmine Guy and Tupac were really good friends,
very close friends.
And she wrote a book entitled Afeni Shakur, which talked
evolution of revolutionary.
Oh, okay, yeah. Didn't know the name, but I read some of that book, and just a powerful woman, and all the stuff that she went through as a female, as a Black female, as a revolutionary, as a single parent mother. And when she got with Matula Shakur, she was able to kind of rebuild the family structure with that brother.
Indeed. So, yeah, man, that song was so powerful. I'm over here in tears, man. You know, he said, and there's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand. You are appreciated. You know, this song makes me think about my mom. Granted that me and my mother had a lot of turmoil throughout our lives. There's a lot of, how can I say it, instability and so many things that I can talk about. But I have a deep appreciation for her. The simple fact that she gave me birth. She gave birth to me. She gave me life, you know. She carried me for 9 months. And the resilience, I have the utmost respect for women. You know, the resilience that they show to carry a child for 9 months.
Right. With
all that weight in their stomach, walking from place to place and doing the things that mothers do. And then nurturing the child after they are born. There's no words that can describe how powerful women are in that aspect. And it's not just that, so many things that come with, I can just name so many things that comes with that activity of being a mother, you know. So, Afeni, our hearts are with you, our minds are with you, our spirits are with you. I'm pretty sure your spirit is with us. It's going to live forever. We're going to make sure that your legacy lives forever through our actions, through the way we move and manifest life, bring forth life. And I'm speechless, man.
Yeah, I'm
speechless.
This is very painful, listeners. You know what I mean? If anybody want to say a few words or some comments about the death of Afeni Shakur, be sure to call the studios at 585-203-9296. I mean, the Dear Mama song, I want to say that I can totally relate because, basically it was a similar story, relationship between me and my mother, and being able to also reflect and say, yo, I'm appreciated though, because at the end of the day, there was love there, and we were able to get through some of the adversities as I was a child, and be able to reconnect and bond, and me and my mother are very tight to this day. You know what I mean? And so, it's definitely a powerful song. And how could you not be moved by the Dear Mama song?
Seriously.
I mean, there's no way, and that's the power of Tupac, to be able to articulate words and lyrics in such a passionate way that affects people, and that's why he's one of my favorite rappers, because may not have been the best lyricist, but boy, when he said those words, you believed it, you felt it. And that's the most important thing, being able to move people with your lyrics.
Yes. He wasn't one of the greatest lyricists, but he was a phenomenal writer.
Most passionate lyricist.
He's the most passionate lyricist I ever heard. I haven't heard anyone else that come close to his passion. Well, let me take that back. DMX put a lot of passion in his song. DMX is very passionate. So, but that's, a lot of people compared DMX to Tupac when he came out, and I think possibly because of the bald head type of thing. Yeah. But if you was to do a side by side comparison, X do not sound like Pac. X is passionate in his own right.
It's the conviction of the
exactly
in his voice.
Yes, exactly. But Pac, man, listen, he was so multifaceted when it came to his delivery. I can go to the club with Pac, and then I can go to a lecture hall with Pac. He was just far beyond his time. Far, far, far beyond his time. I was listening to a conversation he had with Geronimo Pratt when Geronimo was alive. And, that conversation was deep, man. You know what I'm saying? You remember that conversation?
I never heard that conversation.
You never heard it?
No.
Yeah, they had a conversation. And I was listening to it. He was talking about, this was when Pac had just got out of prison. And they were talking about Pac was talking about who killed him, who shot him up, and who set him up in New York. And then he started telling Geronimo Pratt about how he wanted to create this new Black Wall Street type of thing. He was going to use Tretch and other rappers. They all was coming together to create this like Black Wall Street thing. You know what I'm saying? Across the country. And Geronimo Pratt was giving them some jewels. I mean, he was dropping it on them. You got to hear this conversation, brother.
Yeah, we got it. Well, we got to find the conversation. Also put it on the Facebook page so our listeners can tune in. Wow, so many tears. Tupac. What album is that from? That's from
that's from Me Against the World.
Yeah, Me Against the World. That song, all those songs was coming out while he was in prison. Yeah, while he was in jail. And these songs is topping the charts.
Yes, they were. As a matter of fact, Me Against the World is my favorite album of Tupac. That's my favorite album out of all of his materials.
It's the tightest. It's one of his tightest albums, definitely.
Yeah.
As far as production, as far as music, and people was playing that Pac hard, man.
Hard, man.
Hey, Temptation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was messing
Temptations.
He was messing with Digital Underground still back then too, and they was picking his beats for him, and all them. That's Shock G. So many tears. That's Shock G. Digital Underground, man. Shock G was that dude, man.
Yeah, man. The production on that album, I see death around the corner. Oh man, I'll start to spit some of that, but he got too many cuss words in that, so I can't even.
Yeah, we gotta take it easy.
I gotta take it easy, man. But yo, the album is phenomenal. I call that a classic. I'm surprised it didn't get 5 mics in the source, because it deserved it. His delivery, the passion he put in those songs, like it was one of his most personable albums. If you was to really listen to Pac, right, and then listen to other artists, you can hear clearly Pac was one of the first artists out there talking about death, in the capacity that he was talking about it. Like he was talking about people coming after him, trying to kill him. Like he foresaw his life dying. He foresaw himself dying. He prophesied that.
Yeah, he talked about it a lot. Like he had dreams about it.
Yeah.
He talked about it, and he always knew that he was going to come to an untimely death because he knew that he was not going to turn back. He knew that he was going to speak the truth and he was going to be fearless, and that kind of stuff gets you killed.
Exactly. He already knew because and plus he seen what occurred to his predecessors, which was the Black Panther Party. They were fearless like that too. So, and a lot of them got murdered by the FBI and the CIA. So you can see clearly where he got his passion from. And you can see clearly, I'm not trying to bring up the Biggie and Tupac beef, but a lot of things that Biggie talked about, he got from Pac.
Right.
A lot of his substance, especially like the album Ready to Die. Listen to the album, the title itself, Ready to Die. That's Pac influence right there. Just the title of the album is a Pac influence. So he touched many artists out there that, people were rooting for, like Tupac. Well, Biggie better than Pac, Pac better than Biggie, and all this. They both were nice, you know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is that Pac influenced Biggie in many aspects, and Biggie admitted it too.
Yeah, he was going on. Tupac snatched up Biggie, brought him on tour with him, was showing him shows. Like he said, he was sending little seeds, and then was with Big. He would, embrace all of them. I'm sure gave them libations and whatever, and they was able to be a part of the rap world. And he said that, Biggie even said, man, Puffy is playing, he wanted to sign with Tupac, but Tupac kept it real. Like, listen, man, I really can't offer you nothing right now, but I can have you open these shows for me and hit the road with me, but I can't give you a deal.
No doubt.
And then Puffy ended up making that deal with Big, and the rest is history.
Indeed.
But definitely Tupac was saying that player style, that ball style, that was me. I'm the one that had the girls. I'm the one that was had the words and the charisma.
Exactly.
You would see how I was moving. I'm the one that told you to rap for the girls. I'm the one that was.
Yeah.
He was telling him about all the secrets that he was using to be successful in the rap world.
Put him on the game, and that's what mentors do. Pac was Biggie's mentor. That's the bottom line. And that's why Pac was so much in pain when he got shot up like that in the elevator on the way to see his mentee. He was on the way to see him in a studio session. And what occurred? Tupac gets shot, and he didn't say Biggie shot him up. He was basically saying like, yo, you know who did this. Why don't you know what I'm saying? If this happened to you, you were on my stomping grounds. I would have made sure I'd have took care of that, but you got the, what I'm saying, and Biggie was like, nah, I don't want no parts of them goons right there. Them goons right there. Haitian Jack and them cats was just.
Jimmy Henchman, he was like, nah, I told
no props, no problems with them dudes right there.
And why you beefing with them dudes? Out of all the dudes you can beef with in New York, you want to beef with these dudes.
Word. And he was like, nah, I can't. I love you, Pac, but yo, I got to step out on this one.
Because they was extorting Puffy at the time too. It all came out. A brother wrote a book. He was the person that shot Tupac. He said Jimmy Henchman paid him to shoot Tupac. Wrote a whole book about it. Nobody really talking about it, but this dude wrote a whole book about it. And he said he gave Jimmy Henchman one of Tupac rings. So in his possession, that's the only thing he wanted was a ring. But he said they can keep the Rolex, they can keep the other jewelry. They didn't take all Tupac jewelry either, but they took a couple things. Mm-hmm. But
ring and
they wasn't supposed to shoot Tupac, but they had to, because Tupac went for that ratchet.
Yeah, exactly.
So they had to shoot him, but they were supposed to just rob him, but he ended up getting shot.
Yeah, so, and the rest is history. Pac felt some type of way about it, and so he went after,
he's not from the East, he's from the East Coast, but he don't really live here. I see Little C's, y'all waving at me to come to the studio. Then I walk into the studio. You can't help but to think it's a setup.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is by law of nature. But then when I do get shot up and I come to the studio and I'm like, yo, let's go get these dudes. And y'all like, nah, we ain't really.
Exactly.
We not messing with you. And so that's how the beef started. Because he mentioned how Wu-Tang got ran up on in the West Coast and he went and got their chains back. How different people would come to the West Coast. And he would, ain't nothing gonna happen to you out here. We gonna handle it. So he felt that if you're supposed to be the king of New York, you Biggie, you the king of Brooklyn, you supposed to ride with your boy, because I'd do it for you if he's on the West Coast.
Indeed. And that's the point. That's what he was talking about. And that's why Pac took it so personal. Pac have a revolutionary spirit. And he has a fearless spirit as well. So he don't care who you are. He's like, I'm coming. If you violate, I gotta see you. Period. Bottom line.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, granted, when he was in the streets, when he was out there like in the streets, he wasn't really from the history. He wasn't really like that.
Nah.
But I think this is what I heard, and not really looking at the trend, because I seen Pac change in the media when he was originally with Digital Underground, doing those dances on the stage with them.
No, in the video, he came out with a kente cloth.
With the kente cloth. And,
carrying him on the throne.
Yeah, that, you know what I mean? But also the things he was doing on tour with Digital Underground, dancing with the dolls and, the blow-up dolls and all that stuff he was doing on tour before he came out with the movie Juice. I think the movie Juice changed Tupac's whole movement when it came to being an artist,
because he made money. And he said it. He said, man, listen, I'm thugging. If thugging, I feed my whole family, right or wrong. I feed everybody. So if thugging gonna make me $1 million, then that's what I'm gonna do. So he let it be known that he was doing it for the money. He was supporting his whole family. And that's what people said when Tupac was murdered. What we gonna do now? He was feeding everybody. So now, the guy who was taking care of my family, right or wrong, is no longer here.
No doubt.
And so, and that's what money does to people. You have to stay focused. You can't let money corrupt you. And so you got to have some limits.
Exactly.
Are you going to do anything for money?
Exactly.
Or some things off limits?
Mm-hmm. And Pac you got to have balance too. As an artist, Pac, he lived that thug life. He talked about thugging, but he balanced it out with other content. You know what I'm saying? He talked about that he spoke that revolutionary language. He spoke about the struggle in the black community. He done many things musically that many other artists can't do. He was multifaceted. And not to mention his acting. Oh my God, his acting was phenomenal, man. If Tupac was alive right now, you know how many movies he had under his belt? What he was doing, his work ethic is sick.
Yeah.
The albums he was coming out with simultaneously with the movies. The shows he was doing, he was a workhorse.
Definitely.
A straight up workhorse.
Yeah, the brother was definitely, I think like we said earlier, he knew that he didn't have that much time.
Word.
So he had no time to waste.
Exactly.
So he was trying to do as much work as he possibly can do with the short time that he felt he had here in the physical realm. And so now, unlike other rappers, he has a plethora of music. Some stuff that we never heard, and a lot of stuff got leaked out after he was murdered, and that's why his mother came in and kind of shut it down.
Yeah, exactly.
They was putting out so many different mixtapes. Suge had all this stuff, and all of a sudden stuff started leaking, like mad songs that people had their hands on. So it's crazy. But I want to play a clip of an interview that Afeni did about Tupac. I got a couple of segments I snatched off of there. I just want to hear her voice. And I want the audience, for those who may not know of her, or heard of her, or have her speak about her son or about her, you'll have opportunity to do that. We're going to play a little bit of it. This came from her YouTube, from the Tupac's official YouTube page. So this stuff has been cleared by Tupac and Tupac's mom. So I just got it right from the internet. So we're gonna play a little bit of it. I think this clip it's like a 6-minute clip. So we're gonna play this first clip of her being interviewed about Tupac. So we'll be able to get some more perspective of this, and then we'll talk about it after we play this. So listen up.
I would describe Tupac as an extraordinary human being who was actually quite ordinary. But he was extraordinary in that he felt other people, especially, I think, young people, he felt them maybe a little bit more than the ordinary person. And he could express the feeling of other people for them. So I think that when people, for instance, listen to Tupac's music, they always feel that he said something that, God, I wish I had said it, or I want to say that. That's how I feel, you know. So I would just describe him as an extraordinary human being who was very ordinary. He was my son, and so I knew him and loved him as a human being, as a son, as a mother would a son. He was a good son, a good guy, but he was human, a human person.
That was deep.
And I think
you heard what she said, man, and that is real. There are so many mothers out here that do not have the gift of being able to hear their kids laugh or cry or voice after they die because they don't have those recordings of their child, as opposed to when Afeni Shakur was alive, she had that. She had a catalog of her son.
And not only that, I think she was alluding to that she has the power to pull that laugh down whenever she wants.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so she has it both ways. Not only does she has these recordings that she could play whenever she wanted to, but she also can hear his voice whenever she wanted to, without the music.
Without the music.
So like she was saying, a lot of parents are not blessed with that gift to be able to do that.
Indeed.
So, you know, this is a sad morning.
Very sad, man. And she said some things that we need to regurgitate about Tupac being an artist. A lot of people do pull lines that he said and, you know, try to encapsulate his whole legacy through those lines. When in actuality, Pac has a body of work that painted so many pictures.
Right.
You know, so you have to really look at him as the artist, the genius, the architect of words. He was a wordsmith, and he had ways of delivering the message. He had methods in delivering the message. You know what I mean? That was just beyond people's comprehension. So, you know, that's a great loss. Both we got Afeni Shakur just passed away last night, and in 2000, not 2000, but in 1996, pardon self, September 1996. Tupac passed away.
Right.
You know, so, oh man, just I'm speechless, man. Just, you know, it's sad. It's very sad, man.
Yeah, it's very sad. And I had a chance to go down to Atlanta to when she first started the Tupac Amaru Cultural Center. It was a movie theater in near Stone Mountain on Georgia Avenue or something like that, and we rolled by there. And just to beat it, it wasn't even there. It was a big sign saying that the Tupac Amaru Cultural Center was coming soon. And I rolled by there and took some video. It was a movie plex theater that was at that location that they took over and bought. So I definitely have to make it down to the center when I'm in Atlanta again. Hopefully that'll be really, really soon, so I can go down there and just to be there and pay my respects to not only Tupac but also Afeni. So just saying, rest in peace, man. I mean, rest in power. Soldier, female, Black Panther, fearless, fundraiser, a self-appointed lawyer, humanitarian. She gave back, and like Tupac, she didn't play when it came to her son's material.
Yes.
And the movie's coming out. I'm not sure was casted to be in that film as a character. I don't know, but I can't wait till the film come out. I'm sure it's going to be well received and talked about when it's released.
Yes, that's indeed. And unfortunately, I have to leave the studio. I got to go to a diversity training again. I'm so tired of this thing, man. Just it feels like a dead horse being beat right now. You know
trying
what I mean?
to get diversity in the diversity.
This, the thing about it is that, I'm very humble. I'm very humble when it comes to trainings and things like that. But when you're constantly receiving a training, right, that you can train, things that you can hold the training. The material that I'm receiving in this is something that I've been studying for a very long time.
Right.
There are things I'm actually contributing to the training, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean?
So you going to a training to do the training?
I'm going to the training because it's mandated for me to do it. And this is a lesson that I'm gonna say too. You gotta have freedom to be able to just move the way you want to move. You know what I mean? I'm employed by somebody. They have to sign my checks. What is it? Blah, blah, blah. So I don't really have. Granted that in a capitalistic society, you got to make money in which ways you can. But and I'm fortunate to have a job. But at the same token, I would rather be my own boss. You know what I'm saying?
Boss up, my brother. Boss up.
I would rather be able to do my own thing and move the way I want to move. That's why I'm a hip hop artist as well. A long time ago I wish I was the Tupac of my time. You know what I'm saying?
Get some of that Tupac
Get some
juice.
of that Tupac bread so he could just move the way he was able to move. You know what I'm saying? He got his money right. And, that's why I'm on right now. I'm trying to get my money right. But I got to go to this training, man. And the longer I'm on this microphone, I'm going to end up being late. So
all right,
I'll
my
holler back
brother.
at
Well,
you.
enjoy the rest of your day and get some of them juice from that diversity training. I'm sure it's so enriching and powerful. We need more diversity in Rochester and throughout the world.
You need more diversity in this communiversity.
That's some bars from Amen Patah, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna play some more music. We on the Tupac wave right now. I mean, I'm holding back my tears. I'm trying to be strong on this microphone, but this is very sad. I was really, really, really into Tupac and his mom and what they were about, and Afeni Shakur and all the rest of the political prisoners who were affected by the COINTELPRO operations. Yes. Tupac Amaru Shakur, Letter to My Unborn. That's the title of that track. Tupac didn't have any children, but he was just writing a letter to his children in case something happened to him, or just a metaphoric song about him writing a letter to his child that he physically didn't have. But we know that Tupac had children, and these young hip hoppers today are a reflection of the children of Tupac. Artists like a Ja Rule and others who have embodied some of the charismatic and swag of a Tupac. I know Tretch, I wouldn't say a son, but a close friend, and DMX, and a plethora of other artists who embody Tupac. I know Kendrick Lamar is a huge Tupac fan, and I can hear Tupac in his music. So it's the power of art and the power of music, hip hop music in particular, where no one thought it would last. When it was born in the late 70s, and we're still hip hopping today, and it's crazy that who would think that hip hop music would still be around today. Still speechless in the studio this morning. You just heard Tupac, Who Do You Believe In? And I think that song says a lot. I think we all believe in something. Well, I hope that we all believe in something, whether it's Jesus, Jehovah, Allah, Orishas, Kemetic deities, who do you believe in? And put your trust in whatever you believe in. And that's what the brother was saying. This man, rest in peace to Afeni Shakur, who planted the seeds inside of her children to be thinkers, to be revolutionaries, to be trendsetters, to be fearless, to speak to power. And that's what her son did. And he had a rainbow of different things that he talked about. He had the real hardcore street stuff, and he had the inspirational, powerful stuff, and everything in between. Already a master of what he did, a master of art and acting, writing, even directing his videos. He was heavily involved with the production of his videos. So rest in peace to Tupac Amaru Shakur. Rest in peace to Afeni Shakur. Our hearts are bleeding right now in the studio, and I'm sure across the world. Thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. here on Wayo 104.3 in Rochester, New York to The Morning of Truth. Enjoy the rest of your day.